It's nice and dark. We're heading out to go turkey hunting. Hopefully we're gonna get it done. And since there's 2 of us, I'll record the hunt if things go as planned. But it's turkey hunting, things don't go to plan. So we're gonna hope for the best, plan for the worst, and have some fun. Back at it again. He's sleeping over here because he's a tired boy. Alright guys, so the last part of this video you saw, I believe, was my buddy and I hunting. We were hunting a bird. We sat out Sunday morning. We sat out, alright? He gobbled twice on the ground. Didn't gobble on the roost at all, but I had him, you know, charted out. He did exactly what I was figuring he'd do. Hopped down out of the roost, sat in this clearing, and then walked right at the clearing, right towards us. Now, I thought the spot we were in was pretty good, and honestly, I still feel like it was pretty good, but we were just moving a little bit too much, and he got to see the decoys. The hens were behind him. There was a Jake with him, and he was coming in on the decoys, full strut. He got to like 20 yards, but he wasn't in a clearing that we could shoot into, so we were waiting for him to get closer, but then one of us moved, and he spooked, gone, right? We hung around for like an hour longer, didn't hear anything from him. He was not talking that day. He was not gobbling. He was not nothing. He was just hanging out. The next day on Monday, we also hunted him, but he was getting spooked from external factors like people being around and whatnot. This is Friday, the 19th. That is today, Friday. I went out and I roosted him last night. Roosted him because I saw where he went into a patch of woods. I tried to predict what he would do, where he would go. But he ended up jumping out of the roost tree after gobbling a ton. He was gobbling a ton. He was gobbling on top of my calls. Per a friend's advice, I adjusted those a little bit so they're a little more hen-like and not just like a generic noise in the wilderness. And he was gobbling on top of me. I actually got 2 hens to close the distance to me. And the spot I was in was just terrible. It was a terrible setup. I knew it. But there's no good place to hide there. Like, there's no good trees to lay against. So I was sitting against a tree along the wood line that I figured they'd come out of. And sure enough, these 2 hens came up to the wood line. One of them was like a few yards from me, and I could just see her out of my peripherals, like, come to the clearing. She saw my gobbler decoy, the one that I put the fan on, had that out, and they saw it, weren't interested, I guess, because they had their own gobbler, whatever the reason was. They didn't see me, and then they kind of like continued to yelp and chirp, and as they went further away. And this entire time these hens were doing this, the gobbler was still in the tree, just gobbling, blah, 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 right? So about 5 minutes go by, he hasn't gobbled. 10 minutes go by, he hasn't gobbled. I'm like, all right, I bet he's getting out to that field by now. So I'll sneak up this way to that field, and then if he's in the field, like around the corner, I'll set up on the edge, and then hopefully he'll come right into my decoy, right? Well, I'm sneaking out to the field. There's a deer right there. Spooked the deer, but I'm walking slow still. I get there, and in this like 10 minutes, or maybe it was 15, I don't know. I was trying not to move much. I wasn't thinking much, just chilling. They had made it all the way across the cornfield almost. So they were like all the way on the other side. I was like, you know, there's 2 options I have here. Number 1, I try and call him over, which just historically, or in turkey hunting in general, isn't gonna work. He's with a group of hens, a Jake. Like, he has no reason to come over here. But I did have my gobbler decoy, and it was in my hand. So I kid you not, on the edge of this field, there's grass that's like tall enough to hide a lying down person. So I laid down in the grass, held that decoy out in front of me with one hand, and slowly crawled forward. Like, I was army crawling forward. And I'm watching the gobbler like through the grass, because I'm literally in the grass. And he's literally coming towards me. Like, he's strutting and coming towards me. And I'm like, no freaking way this is gonna work, right? So I take the safety off my weapon as he continues to close, and then he gets to like 60 yards, and he drops his freaking strut and just charges me. On the way, he gobbled. He literally just, boom, beeline right to the decoy, gobbled on the way, and then he got to about maybe 20 yards, still closing quickly, put out his fan to strut again, and was like front long coming towards me. And I was just like, he's gonna be attacking me in about 3 seconds. So it's either deal with a bird that's on top of me and not get a shot, or shoot him facing directly towards me. So I lined up right on him, boom! Down he goes, bro. He flopped around a little bit. He was flopping actually quite a bit. So I went over to him, I held him down, and I, applied pressure to him. Thank you, Scott, for the advice. And now I have a freaking bird, bro. Tagged out, 2 gobblers. What a freaking season. I'll show them to you guys in a minute. So as I said before, it was a pretty awesome hunt. Really sad I couldn't get in video. If I was there with somebody else, I probably could have stayed back and videotaped while whoever I was with called for, but no use in talk about coulds or woulds though, because it didn't happen. I didn't get a video, although it would have been a freaking amazing video, as I stated before. But here's the bird. In case you were wondering, it really happened. So you heard the story, you know how it went down. He's a beautiful turkey, 10-inch beard. I'm about to pluck him down and get him in a pot, but I mean, he's got beautiful spurs. Check him out. This one he actually snapped at one point and then regrew it. Beautiful animal.